Do we have a motion to approve the agenda with that adjustment? We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion on this motion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Our first item under old business is the request from the Mountain View Youth Center. They spoke at the December meeting, requesting that we renew the agreement with them with at least the $7,000 that was designated for electricity the last few years, with an increase to $10,000 if possible. And per the annual agreement, we did ask for the financial statement, which have been provided to the council. And Lincoln is here. Are you from the board or are you the executive director?
I'm the president.
Okay, if you would, please come to the podium. She has asked to speak to the council because of the gossip that's been going around that they have been denied that request. It is my understanding that our budget was approved without any funding for the youth center, and that's why she is here to address you. And then the council will have their questions or statements after we hear from you.
So I guess I just wanted to.
You will need to speak into the microphone because our legal counsel is remote.
I just wanted to clarify just a couple things that we do.
Is there a mic on?
Yeah, sorry, I don't have, my voice is almost gone.
Carrie, is the mic on?
It's on, yeah.
Is it?
So I have just rumor anyways that we are not open very often is what I've been told, like less than 30 days out of a year, which is not true. I don't know, I made you guys all copies of these if you guys want them. It's just kind of like a breakdown. I'll give it back to you. Okay. So basically, it's just a breakdown of like what we do every month at the youth center. So starting with January, we have our winter shootout, which brings a lot of people into Mountain View. It's every Saturday. This is like for athletes from preschool all the way to 6th grade. We do that every Saturday in January. Along with that comes practices every single night. Up until like 8 or 9 o'clock. Andrea, our director, is usually there helping. February, we have the state qualifying basketball tournament. And that goes along with our basketball shootout too. So it's a tournament. We have our sweetheart dance for 6th through 8th grade. We usually have around 160 kids that attend that. In March, we start our volleyball practices. We do a league for volleyball from pre-K to 5th grade. April is when the volleyball starts. It's on Thursday nights. We have regular practices all through the week with that as well. May, we do baseball, softball, and t-ball. Those practices start. Typically, that's all done at the softball field and then in the field beside the youth center. In June, the gym's floors get done, so we can't be on them for around 30 days just for best results for the gym floors. But we do still, during that time, we still have parties in the Rubies and Rust, and we do offer like parties in the building, just not in the gym. Also in June, our t-ball starts, our baseball begins, softball, It's every single night of the week besides Wednesdays. There's multiple games. In July, we have our Adult League softball. That's every Friday nights. And then in August, we usually have an Adult League softball tournament. That tournament is the Ernie Foster Memorial Tournament. And that we do a scholarship for one of the kids at the high school. All of the proceeds go to that. Also in August, football practice begins for Mighty Mites. In September, Mighty Mite games start, so that is preschool through 5th grade. It's primarily Saturdays and then some weekday games. The flag football also starts, and that is pre-K through 2nd grade. And those are on Tuesday nights. We also do cheerleading, so those as well, they cheer on those game nights. In October, that's when the flag football the games start. And like I said, the cheerleading starts. And then November, December starts basketball practices again, preparing for the winter shootout. And then I put on here like year-round activities that we do. So Friday night skate nights, that is during the school year primarily. Honestly, skate night is not a moneymaker for the youth center. We just do that to provide kids something to do on Friday nights. We've also been trying to do a open gym on Mondays when the school is out. We haven't had a chance to start that yet because they've been going to school on Mondays since December, I think. So as soon as, I think their next Monday off maybe, I think it's next Monday, we'll start that. Like I said, we continue to host multiple birthday parties in the gym, in the event room. We try to be as active in the community as we can. We do the back to school fair. We allow the students to come help and volunteer for their like beta hours, community club hours, scholarship hours. We have been able to provide some meals for the high school basketball team. We've been doing a couple fundraisers to help improve the softball fields, which I don't know if you guys have driven by there, but we have some banners up. We've repainted down there. We've gotten some dirt, took down some old bleachers. That's pretty much it. So I just kind of wanted to break down everything that we do and let you know that we are open year round. We might just not have regular hours like a regular job, but we are open a lot.
Can I make a statement?
Yes,
please?
the first one.
I am all for the youth center. My grandkids go there all the time. My kids went there prior to that. I just want to give you guys an example. I'm a very good note maker. I write everything down. There has been a lot of misrepresentation, and I want to clarify quite a few things. We did not take the money out of the budget to prevent the youth center from getting it. I'm choked up too, honey, so. We were on a deadline to get our budget done by the 31st to send it to the state. So we had to do a few things for the moment to get our budget correct, because it's a projection. Also, I want to clarify, we do not have $8 million in our budget. That is a projection for what the year could bring with our revenue, taxes, etc. We discussed this, notes. We discussed the youth center. Alderman Coulter stated that normally, because they've done this before, that they would like to see the financials. That's what they ask for every year. Because Gail and I are new. So we're learning as we go. Okay, we all four agreed that day to look at the financials. Also, Alderman Perry suggested that we look into the youth center's board because of an incident that had happened prior with another committee. We also wanted to know how many days a week you guys were open, what the activities was, because we have a right to know. Also, you guys have a contract with the city, there's stipulations in there, like monthly reports and things like that. Again, we're new, we're learning. We have not seen a report at all since we've been in office. We also wanted to find out what the bills was running and why you guys ran short and try to get that situated. We also all agreed, as soon as the budget come back and the state approved it, that we can always agenda and add things back to the budget, and the youth center was one that would be put back on the budget. But our deadline was to get that budget into the state. It wasn't that we was planning on taking the money and not giving it to the youth center. We had a deadline first. So I just want to clarify that, because a lot of misrepresentation went across the board. Things were said, Facebook was blowing up. It was a mess. I had several people contact me, I clarified it, they understood, and all it would have took is just you guys calling us. You could have called City Hall, you could have called Trish, you could have called any one of us and asked us, and we would have told you that it was all due to the budget.
I guess email would have been also nice and communication on your guys' end as well.
That is true too, yes. But it would have also been good for it not to be a ridicule thing for us, because
I did not post anything on
I know, I'm not saying you did, huh?
She did email and asked to speak to the council, and that's why she's on the agenda today.
But I just wanted to clarify it. We had no intentions of the youth center not getting it. They've been getting it for what, 5 years? Is this
Something like that.
And we was gonna continue on. Because again, my grandkids go to the youth center. They can't wait to go. And I don't wanna see anything happen to that. That is a staple in our community and has been for a lot of years.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes?
Okay. I'll guarantee this is pointed at me. Now then, was that meeting even recorded? No. The reason that meeting wasn't recorded is because this gentleman was not there and nobody else had a camera to do such. Now then, as we got towards the end of the meeting, this is exactly what was said. Well, since we're not mowing the grass anymore at the youth center, not the youth center, I'm sorry, the soccer fields, who's going to tell the youth center? And I popped up and said, well, you are, because you're the one that's in charge. That was the exact word, but it's not recorded, and so of course, that's how it goes. My understanding at that point, at that time was, oh, we're not gonna give the youth center any money, and we're not gonna mow the soccer fields. And that's exactly the way I took it, and that's exactly what was said.
And
Now,
that might have
it's
been the
not
way you
recorded.
took it, but that is not the way it come across.
Okay, that's
And
it.
you actually asked, and if this
Excuse
is
me.
another thing I could bring up here, you actually said something about the money that's gonna come in from the grants. And our city administrator at that point, you said, well, all the money you're gonna bring in from grants, Judy was already pretty well out the door, Gail was too, and she said, no, I'm too busy to write grants. Okay.
Okay, what does grants have to do with
All
it?
right.
Well, that's it, but I'm just saying, that's what the conversation was, and so this is the way I took it, that no, we're not giving the youth center any money, because we're not gonna mow the soccer fields, and we need to quit doing this.
Okay, we're not gonna rehash.
Yeah, we're not
anymore.
going to,
No, but she is here with her request. The council needs to make a decision if we're going to renew the agreement as it is, draft a new agreement, fund the electric as we have in the past, yes or no? That's the
No.
request that is before
I
the
would like to
council.
say one thing too. Everybody else is getting their 2 cents in here, I'm gonna put. On your Facebook, and the way a lot of citizens look at it, on your Facebook, it looks like that you're only open 28 to 30 days. So this stuff that you showed us here, you really need to post that on the Facebook, so all the people that goes on your Facebook and sees what you're doing, all they see is skate night, Friday night from 6 to 8:30, open gym from 8:30 to 10. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why we was questioning that you was only open so many days out of the year.
That's coming from multiple citizens,
Yes.
not just us.
Which we have not had a director. I've been trying, I mean, I'm a nurse, I work 40 hours a week. We've been running the youth center for almost 2 years now. So now we do have a director, and I think that that would be an easy request to make happen.
And in the summertime, is there more things that you could do at the youth center or have programs for the kids besides softball or anything like that? Have summer dances or something? Because even of a daytime, I'm not saying nighttime, of a daytime, because that's when a lot of parents is at work and their kids need something to do of day. So could you guys
Just
look
summer
into?
activities.
Yeah, summer activities for the kids?
We can look into it, for sure. I know in the past, we've tried to do some things, and summer's just, kids wanna be at the pool, they wanna be outside, they don't really wanna be cooped up, and like I said, we do the gym floor in June and nobody can be on it, so that kinda takes up that whole month, and then, you know, they're doing their softball and baseball, that's all through the week, that whole entire month is all through the week, it's just not at the youth center, it's at the softball field.
And also to clarify about the grants, we did get a grant to get the park done up there. All that is gonna be considered for the youth play. The school redone the tennis courts, we got a pickleball court, the pool's redone. We're gonna have a new park, they're gonna pour a sidewalk from there all the way down and around the youth center. That's where the grant was coming about, is what I was asking Trish about, because I knew that some of the grant had went through for the park.
We've also talked about doing some baseball tournaments. We've done a couple, where we're just like a host spot for the tournaments. So we have done a couple of those on Saturdays, and it seems to turn out well.
Okay, so our question is, are we going to renew a service contract for the youth center and include the funding for the electric as they have previously requested? A new contract will have to be drawn up. This one went through December 31st of '25. So is there a motion on the request from the youth center?
I will make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve to renew the contract as
The 7,000.
the previous one. Commences January 1 through December 31
Adjusted to the 10.
and adjust it to 10. Okay, because the item number 5 on this contract reads, "City agrees to compensate Family Youth Center for services to be rendered hereunder by providing funding in the amount not to exceed," would be 10,000 now, "to be limited to electrical service to the building currently occupied by Family Youth Center, and to assume responsibility for cutting grass, weed eating not included during the term of this agreement." The cutting grass was at the youth center. And they have complied with the,
We didn't have a total for December, just utilities, you know what they ran?
bill.
Everybody wants cheaper.
It's not enough.
It was cheaper, I wanna say around 700 maybe.
Yeah, the utility billing history, it was included in the financial pages, financial reports, but that utility billing history, page 6, 7, 8, and 9, is the utility billing from the Mountain View Youth Center, and it does include,
Looks like it's 581.
Yeah, on the top part.
oh, this is the November billing, you are correct.
Well, if the building's not open from May to August, I noticed the electric bills is higher than 3 months.
Is there things going on, or
I
just
have
that's
no
how much
idea.
it costs?
But if you're utility bill, you know, the billing that we got from you for every month,
Yeah.
those 3 months is the highest.
I'm also on the board for the youth center, and during those months, it's the hotter months of the year. We have a lot of parties, we have family reunions, we have graduation events, we've done wedding receptions, and we cool a lot more area because we include the event center in the back also, and that kind of tends to run our electric higher during those months.
That's why I say we need to be informed on, you know, so we can explain to the taxpayer, you know, why the electric bills are high, because like I said, on the Facebook page, it just says skate night, that's all we're reading, and so it don't make sense to them, and it don't make sense to us that they was only open 28 days last year, you know?
And as Lakin has said, you know, we'd have been without a director, and these guys have really sucked it up, and they've took hours away from their family, and they have kept it running, and they have increased all the activities that we do, and we run on volunteer hours a lot. We do have some employees, but they are mostly kids, students, and they are active in sports. So we try to pitch in everywhere we can, but there's about 6 people that are on the board that put in so many hours every month that people do not know about, that to help stretch those dollars. And when we all came on the board about the same time, a couple years ago, before all this other stuff came up, we were not in a very good position. I mean, we didn't have the money to operate, and we are now solvent. We've been able to hire that director to take the load off of some of the people. I mean, they're young parents, they've got kids that are in activities, and they're donating so much time, and I think that needs to be taken into consideration too. And we have not, and we have discussed this, we have not promoted ourselves as well as we should have. And there was a lot of input put into making this list because we realized that we need to sell ourselves, and we had not done that, so.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies, very much. And like everything else, not everybody has Facebook. We've got to find other ways to communicate other than Facebook. But we have a motion on the table to renew the service contract and increase the funding to $10,000. Is there a second?
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Now, if there's any further discussion or comments, first from the council.
Jen is not wrong, like, we agreed to take it off until we got this information, this is all we needed. But like being new, it's different, trying to learn everything, but that was the understanding, is just getting the information and then going from there.
Just like that with you cutting the grass, does that need to come over there?
What's the lab responsible for cutting the grass around the youth center?
Right.
Yeah, you guys didn't do that last year anyway, so you can't go.
So we can take it off, you
Yeah,
have
we got
someone
all
that
that
can do it,
stuff last year.
or will do it?
We can do nothing.
Thank you, that just keeps us out of the liability, okay?
Okay, so we are funding $10,000 limited to the electric. And the way that has been done in the past is it's been, the electric bill has been credited each month until that amount of money is used up. And I think it went through October of '25.
Right.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We need a roll call vote.
Harry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
All right.
Thank you again very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our
Sorry,
next-
Lakin, for all the confusion.
Our next item is discussion on the truck parking at the airport. Our airport manager, Waylon Scudder, is unable to be here. He has written an email, which I'm going to read in part. But our city administrator and the city clerk, other staff members had drafted an ordinance to create a permit system for the trucking that's at, or truck parking that's at the airport. It is my understanding from various people that have lived here, when it happens, that parking at the airport was created to keep the truck drivers from parking their rigs on our city streets. So that leads me to believe that that was for the citizens of Mountain View that drive trucks. Because we do have an ordinance that semi-trucks are only allowed on certain streets in Mountain View. So I can see that if it is a citizen that lives inside the city limits that needs a place to park their truck, that's what that parking lot was created for. That makes sense. Now, I want to read what Mr. Scudder has written to the council. From my observant point of view, the city should require mandatory use permits due to the activities that have been taking place over the past several years, which I, Wayland Scudder, have personally witnessed. We have had commercial operations such as mechanics maintaining semi-trucks and trailers. Cleaning and detailing companies have been washing tractor trailers with highly corrosive, unapproved chemicals while flooding the parking lot area and contaminating local water systems. We have had major freight companies such as Home Depot, Walmart, Hunt, and other major freight liners using our parking lot as a trailer interchange area. All of this extra usage has imposed damage on our parking area. There has been an excessive amount of trash left behind. There is a section of 500-foot drainage pipe running beneath the parking area that has been collapsed from the weight of all the heavy traffic. The overall condition of the access road leading to the airport is nearly unusable to certain vehicles due to the damage from all of the heavy traffic. At one point, there were semi-trucks actually driving on the airport taxiways, causing damage to one of the hangars that I have personally rented, nearly damaging an aircraft that was inside. Having the extra money from usage permits would only help maintain the parking area for the people that use it instead of the city having to pay for and provide maintenance to do so. Irregardless of the cost, it's vitally important that it be used for the purpose that it was created, and that is for the citizens of Mountain View who do drive trucks, that they have someplace to park their truck so that they do not have to park on the city streets at their residence. That parking lot was not created for a commercial enterprise, evidently, as it has been used. When the airport pavement was rehabilitated this summer, it took quite a bit of effort to even find who owned the trailers that were left down there or the trucks that were parked down there so we could get it cleared off so the contractors would have a staging area. There are things, I guess they got them all finally, but it did take some time. So irregardless of cost, we've got to have some kind of permit parking down there to control some of that. So at this point in time, this is discussion only, but it's something that is vitally important that we do go forward.
Can I make a statement?
Yes.
I talked to 2 or 3 of the truckers that parks down there, and they have noticed these extra trucks coming in from, what was the one the other day they just told me
They're
about?
freight companies
Yeah,
anyway.
it's freight company. And so they have no problem of coming up and filling out a permit, giving their license number on their trailers and all their information, and even on their personal rigs that park down there when they get in their trucks. They have no problem of filling out a permit so the city would know who is parking down there, or a sign put up permit, or putting a permit in their truck windows, so that when the other freights come in, I do know one trucker told me that a couple of the freight liners that's down there now is because they was told they was gonna have to pay a large amount of money to park down there, so a couple of the regular truckers is parking at Signal, and that's why Home Depot was parking down there. As far as the trash, a lot of them pick up the trash. I asked one guy about the drain pipe. He said he's been parking down there for years, and the drain pipe's always had a hole in it when he started parking there across the parking lot. They asked for not a lot of gravel to be put down there, because I'm not a truck driver, but they say if it's deep gravel, when the trailer turns in it, it slides. I have no idea. I'm just taking them at their word.
But the deep gravel will protect the pipe, so there's two ways to look at that. But we also do have to remember that this is for the citizens of Mountain View,
Yes.
the truck drivers that
Yes.
do live in our
And they
city.
all agree to that too, that it was made for locals.
So, and there will have to be some cost to this because of the maintenance, that it is an expense to the city. So we will go forward with some type of permit. I guess we need a motion to that. Do we have a motion
I'll
to
make
go
a-
forward with a permit process for the parking?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to go forward with a permit process for the truck parking at the airport. Is there any discussion?
Well, from after, I do, just from after reading this, I wish we'd had this a while back, but anyway, how's the 500 foot of drainage gonna get repaired? If it's already from so much weight that it's caused damage, keep parking on it is going to just keep.
We'll have to have our city utilities check it out and see what has to be done, and if it's the case that they can't drive on it, then that'll have to be taken into consideration, I guess. And I can, this is just a informational thing, because the second part of our airport rehabilitation will be the runway, and they will be working on that later this year, and it will cause the airport to be shut down, which will also entail that that parking lot probably will also be closed down for a certain period of time, and I don't know when that's gonna happen or how long it's gonna take, but that is something that will be coming up in the future. Any further discussion on this motion to go forward with the permit process? A roll call vote.
Harry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Okay, under new business, the financial reports begin with page 10. You have the claims report from December, and then the claims report from January 1st to the 9th payroll. And I can address on the page 14, there's an expense to Horner and Schifrin for $221,978.49. And that is for engineering services on our wastewater collection system project, which we get that money from the state grant and loan before it's ever paid out. So that major purchase was covered by grant. Then on the December claims report, page 17, there's Ganesh Accounting for $10,348.22 and G Asphalt System for $1,140. Both of those are from airport grant, and MoDOT waits. This is supposed to be reimbursed after we make the payments, but MoDOT deposits the money first and then lets us pay. So those are both covered by the grant. And on page 19, the $455,796.35 was our first payment to KJAX Contractors for the wastewater collection system grant
Where was that at?
on
Sherry?
page 19 in the January claims.
Under what department?
The bottom.
The sewer,
Oh,
page
sewer,
19
okay.
at the bottom.
Okay.
That was our first payment to the contractor.
Can you stop on 19?
Well, I'm sure there's others. I was just covering those
Okay.
through the grants. So if you've got questions about any of the others, let's start back at
Go ahead.
page 10. Unless, does anybody have questions on any of the expenditures that you're seeing?
There's one on 19 if nobody has any before then.
Okay, okay, which one on 19?
Okay, in parts, you got the Pogo Turf Pro golf. That should have been down and taken out of golf. It must have been, because that's for the pogo stick on the golf course.
Oh, it's just a line item.
Right,
Just
it's a
that-
line item, but it needs to make sure it comes out of golf instead of parks.
I'll make sure that's recoded. It just got put on the wrong code. And I apologize, all of these that are dated the 8th, January 8th. I was trying to align the checks and I put print checks instead of print test. So the checks have not been mailed, even though they say the 8th, that's the date on them, I'm holding them for you to approve.
Okay.
Yes, the December ones are paid out, the January ones are,
Also, I noticed on the report too, that some of the departments are missing their phone. Some has phone, showing the phone, some of them don't. The 3169 for the city phones. Like admin don't have it, don't you, and don't you guys have one?
Yeah, and those should show up under cell phones.
Right, they do show up.
Is it not the one that says phone street,
Yeah,
phone park?
yeah.
Right.
Each one of them is showing the phone. Phone shop was 3169. It's on there, but there's several of the departments that's not
Electric.
showing. See, like on water, on page 20, it's for the 3169 phone water. And I didn't know if that might have just been something that,
I'll check to be sure those were coded correctly.
was like fire, electric.
oh, but you see,
um,
it's a Simmons Bank is, that's part of the, the credit card payment, I assume.
Yes.
So if, when it was divided up, if it wasn't, is there a Simmons, on the electric, is there a Simmons Bank?
Yeah, it's showing Simmons.
Yeah, because the cell phones hit a credit card every month, they're on auto pay.
Well, it also says Simmons Bank and Phone Shop, Simmons Bank Phone Parks.
Right.
Does golf not have one?
Yeah, golf had one. I don't know.
It's got Simmons Bank. You might need to check.
Or it's Parks has it.
But
There's just a
everything-
couple of them that I just wanted to let you know, Terry, so that way, just in case something.
I'll check and be sure they're getting coded correctly.
The, along with these, the January claims that are, the claims report that need approval to be paid, plus the MUPA bill, which is page 26. That's what we will have to have motion to approve the pending claims and the MUPA bill.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve payment of the January claims report and the MUPA bill, which is our electric in the amount of $249,872.87. And the total accounts payable, including the payments to the, that includes the grants that were covered, there was a total of $778,905.39. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor to approve payments, please say aye.
Aye.
And on the MUPA Alliance, the power purchase worksheet, which is page 28 in the council packet, that 8742 ended July. That was at reserve, so that's been paid, so we have not been paying August, September through December. The other financial reports that you have are the account list in the bank, the cash report, which still does not match the general ledger, but 20 years of not accounting for some of the outstanding.
So
It's getting
is
closer.
the 700 been taken out of the Treasury Connect? The 700,000 yet
700,000 for what?
for the claims, the bills?
No,
No.
the ones that have a January 8th date,
Right.
the rest of them, because like the payments for the grants has already been taken out.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So if you look at the very last page, you take that 455 out of the 778, that's almost the total of all the rest of them. So like 323,000. Then you have the motor vehicle tax and the sales tax accumulation for 2025. And on the budget report, I do know that the 4830 on page 29, the interest revenue, which only showed the 5482, but that was for the first 3 months of 25. Was that posted anywhere else, Terry? I could not find it, the interest, the bank interest each month.
It has
We
to
had
be
talked about
posted
that
somewhere.
22, it's approximately $22,000.
Yeah, I don't know where it's been posted
Okay.
if I don't.
We'll just have to look that up. Including our grant money, our total revenue for 2025 was $8.9 million. And our expenses at 7.7. But again, there's grant money that went out of there that comes off of that 8.9, but we did end up with some revenue over expenses in 2025. Are there any more questions or comments regarding any of the financial statements that you have?
I would like to thank Terry for working so hard to get all these books and stuff caught up. She's done a great job.
Okay, if there's nothing on the financial reports, we'll move on to the department reports. Does any of the council have any questions or comments on the department reports? I know you were given some of them just this evening, so.
Is there a different form, just being picky, is there a different form that we could give the mechanic where we wouldn't get a novel?
We can look at creating a new one. What are you looking to see?
I mean, I
What would you
love all the
rather see?
information, I'm not complaining, but it's just that, you know,
Well, in his defense, he was given that form, so, yeah.
Yeah, a while
I'm
ago.
not criticizing him, I'm just trying to make him where he don't have, 15 pages of reports to us.
He's given me a page every week. He brings them in every Friday and gives them to me.
And that's better than not bringing them in at all like some.
I also think it helps keep him organized on which car he worked on, so that he always has a file on that particular
Right.
vehicle to look back on. So him doing it individually like that also assists in his organization.
Yeah, he makes a copy. He keeps a copy for himself and he gives me the original.
That may be the better
And that's
thing,
fine,
you know.
if that's the only way to keep his records good, I was just thinking, we get 10, 12 pages from him ever.
Did you ever get back in touch with MoDOT on the lights that I talked to you about the
Yes.
caution lights?
Seymour, those are being phased out. They no longer do that.
Okay.
So he said that he would look into other options, and I have not heard back.
Would you also tell the electric guys, thank you for the copies of the fourth quarter?
Yes.
And we do appreciate the electric working all night that night when the 3 poles went over on James Street.
That was a nice straight line.
Huh?
I said that was a nice straight line there.
Oh, I know. It's big numbers.
Water and sewer as well on New Year's Eve. They all had
Yes,
plans.
yes, that's
And-
true.
And for getting on the bank breaks when they're happening.
Okay.
One more
Anything
comment.
else on this department?
We really need to tell our fire chief, I listen at the calls, and I do appreciate him responding like he does.
Okay.
That's all.
Next item are the minutes for December 3rd through January 9th. Are there any corrections, additions?
I couldn't find no mistakes. I make a motion we accept it. Accept it.
Page 94.
94?
94.
It says that motion to approve the contract. It says that I voted no, but I voted yes to approve the contract. There's nothing on there. On page 94.
Is it the second one?
The motion to approve the contract for Police Chief Swing as amended? Is that the one you were asking about?
Personnel.
If I remember correctly, you voted no on that, but you said yes to his.
Well, what I,
raise.
if I remember right, I have this agreement from the chief of police right here. Okay, on the first one, there's only a single one here, and we actually did 2 votes that night. Because you remember we discussed wages? I mean, that's, because,
And you voted
anyway, I'm
yea.
not gonna go into depth there, but we did discuss wages. And so the first time, I did vote no, but when it came to the second vote on wages, I said yes. And then we did this, agreement for the 20th day of November. And that one here. And I did vote yes on that because it's missing, nothing about pay raises in that.
The vote on the wages was at a meeting before December 3rd. You voted to hire him, to make a contract, and to do the wages, and then we got the contract and had this meeting, and you approved the contract. So the wages is on the meeting
Right,
before
that's
this
what I was-
prior meeting.
That's what this is right here.
So are you saying the correction on 2 should be that you voted aye?
Yes, because of, moved to approve the contract, yes.
Are there any other corrections or additions? Okay, is there a motion to approve the minutes presented December the 3rd, December the 9th, open and close, December the 16th, open and closed, a work session on the 19th, meeting on December the 23rd, January the 7th, and January the 9th. Motion to approve, please.
On the one that I have here on December the 16th, Tuesday, the top of my paper says work session, Clerk Policy Manual 2026 budget, call to order at 8:05. I would have assumed, instead of that being a work session, I thought that was the meeting itself.
You talking about the 16th, the
On page
19th?
100,
60.
Tuesday, December the 16th, if you look at the very top, it says work session,
We had the work session
Had the
before
work
we went
session
into
on
the
the first
business,
meeting.
that's
but it
correct.
doesn't show anything that we actually went into a meeting, just a work session.
It's 98, page 98.
That's what I was getting at, is that
21, dated budget workshop, Tuesday, 16.
He's saying.
Right,
we
but
did
the
not-
minutes from the meeting on the 16th, we had the work session first and then new business. That's the way the meeting was conducted, because it was an open meeting, we had a work session first.
Yeah, it says call to order 8:05 PM, that's when you started the meeting. Up until then it was work session.
And I guess call to order should have been bolded, maybe that was separated, but it was. We had the work session, the 2 items, and then we went into a meeting at 8:05. I still need a motion to approve these minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second? there any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Our next agenda item is a VFW Auxiliary Military Tribute. And the president of the VFW Auxiliary is here to make a presentation to the council. Her name is Tanya Miller, and she is my daughter, for any of you that do not know that. Sorry.
Judy Martin. Alright, and I do have a little handout for everybody. You're welcome. Alright, first of all, thanks for letting me speak to you guys this evening. I'm here to talk about the Military Tribute Banner Program. Some of you may be familiar with it, especially anybody who's been up to Ava. They currently have 100 flags up around town, or not currently because it's off season, but over the last 2 years they've been doing this program. We would like to partner with the city to bring this program to Mountain View. And what it is individuals and businesses can purchase a banner for one of their loved ones, and I have props. So this is a sample banner. So we would sell these, and anybody can buy them. There would be limited spots. And they would be hung up and displayed around town. And this is the front of the banner, would have the person's picture on it, their name, what military branch they were in, any medals they've won, medals they were awarded, dates of service. And then on the back is a little, the city's logo, City of Mountain View. Very, very high quality. I like to touch things, but
Yeah,
and this is just a sample, so they're just cut. The actual would be nicely sewn. It's a company out of Florida that's veteran owned, and all of their employees are veterans. Just snapped your name tag on.
Do you work with our VFW here?
Yes, sorry, I'm the president of the auxiliary in Mountain View, yes. Yeah. And, yeah, they're really, really nice. So we're talking with the same company, like I said, that Ava used. We've modeled the program a lot, the way that they structured it. So what it would be, we would sell these, people would submit their information, we'll get them printed, and they would be displayed around town, ideally. We were thinking down 5th Street, Elm Street, and 1st Street, from Memorial Day to Veterans Day, okay? We're initially thinking to do 50 in the first year, and then they would be taken down, like I said, after Veterans Day, right around the time you guys are gonna put up the Christmas decorations, so that would work out well. And then be put back out the next year, and maybe even add additional number at that time. So what we would be, and before I forget to say it, it's also the 250th, birthday of our country. What a better time than now to implement this, and it's just beautiful if you've been to a city that has these up. Check out City of Ava's Facebook page and the auxiliary up there and their Facebook page. They're just beautiful. But what we would be asking from the city is your partnership and endorsement with this program, and obviously having your emblem and everything on the banners as well. The city workers would have to hang the brackets and put the banners up and down every year, obviously, for the length of time we would do the program. And what we would like to do for the city, the brackets that hold these are very pricey. We're talking $40 to $50 a piece. Once the program is said and done, we will gift them to the city to have up and remain up for whatever use you have. And like I said, the auxiliary would get them from May to November every year to display our banners. But then any other time throughout the year, whatever you guys want to display, they would be there for you as well, and then permanently too.
So this is, you're asking for the city's permission to use the poles that are around town to put these brackets in?
Yeah, and for the workers, the time that it would take to put them up, you know. And I did attach a schematic to your sample flag there that just shows what the bracket kind of looks like and is involved in it, so you have that as well.
What do the banners usually run?
We'll be selling them for $200. And I know, like I said, when Ava did theirs, the first year they put up 50. The second year, they put in an additional 50, so currently they have 100 up. This year, they're putting 50 more up, so they'll have 150. We obviously have to see what our response is, but I don't know if we would aim to go that far to have 150 around town. I would think maybe 100 total, 50 the first year.
Linda, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I thought I'd tell you, back several years ago, we had Welcome to Mountain View's banners made. So we should have those brackets.
Well, they're probably not the same size, and I've been driving around town a lot and looking at some. I've found very few on any poles,
Well,
and they're very rusted and hanging and, you know.
Do you think
So
there
again,
might be
we're-
somewhere?
I think
Boxed
that they
up?
always, I'm not sure how wide that is, but I think our banners were pretty close to that. Because we changed them out at every event. And the boys were real good about the main street down through town and up by the grade school.
Okay. Well, we're not asking the city to pay for anything other than your workers' time to put them up. We're taking care of the brackets and everything
Oh,
like
okay.
that. And then we were going to gift them to the city for, you know, partnering with us and thank you. Yeah, we're not asking them to pay for them.
I was just thinking if
Yeah.
you already got them, you might have cleaned them up and used them.
So if we get this approved,
I-
you think you could have would it be ready by May?
Oh, yes, yes. We have to have our orders in by March 1st, otherwise our cost of the banners go up, which does eat into a little of the proceed, because it is a fundraiser for us also, but then to cover the costs, other costs associated as well. So yeah, we would have to get our orders in by March 1st, and they'll definitely be shipped and ready to go.
Okay, the banner includes the hanger. In other words, the $200 every single.
Yeah, we're offsetting most of the posts, the auxiliary, we're offsetting most of that cost for it. But like if you wanted to buy one, your cost is $200 and it will be put up.
Okay, that includes the bracket and everything.
Yeah, you're buying the banner,
Okay,
okay? And it'll be hung up on the brackets. You're not purchasing the bracket as well. And I think I failed to mention, once they're retired, so let's say this particular Mr. Bradford, we would hang up, usually they say 3 to 4 years before they really start to show wear. I know the ones in Ava that were already up 2 years still look really good, and they're putting them up for the 3rd year. But then when we would retire a banner, the family that purchased it gets it as, you know, it's theirs to keep once they're retired.
It's my understanding that Ava puts theirs up before Memorial Day, and then the city workers put them up, and then the city workers take them down when they do the Christmas decorations.
Right,
So
it's a little after
it's after.
Veterans Day.
They put theirs up like the 1st of May, don't they?
I think so, and then it's like after Veterans Day, like she said, that way they're going up one time, they're taking this down and they're putting up their Christmas wreath or whatever they're putting up.
And when do you need to know by?
For council approval, tonight.
No, to buy a banner.
All of our orders have to be in March 1st, so like as soon as they say, yes, Tanya, we have an idea, I'm gonna run home and make it official with the company, and they'll get things in the work, and I'll get a website that, for ordering, we'll get print materials, digital materials to advertise it. So anybody that is interested, definitely be sure to hit me up right away, because just within our auxiliary and the post, it's already filling up, you know. And maybe if it gets, or like Ava, they had a waiting list, the last 3 years for people to get in the next go around. I mean, we say we could order 100 or a couple hundred, but I'm kind of thinking we start at the 50, kind of like they did.
I make a motion, we let them do this. And I want one.
Add it to
Okay,
my list.
we have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Perry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Thank you. You might pass that banner around,
Oh, if anybody wants to look at it.
they can feel it, and then tell all of your friends and relatives about it.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, our next item is really an announcement that Myrma Health returns a surplus of the premium payments into that pool. And it will be deducted from our January 2026 invoice. And this is on the health insurance for the employees. And the return of surplus authorized amount is $11,152.45.
Why?
Why? Okay, I'm gonna read this to you because it says, each member's allocation amount is determined by their total premium payments into the pool since their inception date through December of 2024. And that total amount, so the total amount that our city pays into this pool is divided into the combined total premium payments of all eligible members of Myrma, resulting in a pro rata percentage of premium payments. And the total approved return surplus amount is $500,000. So what we pay in compared to what everybody else pays in up to this surplus amount of $500,000 is what we're getting back. And it does say that this approved total is the second return of surplus Myrma Health has returned in the 78 months that they've operated the health pool. That's all the information that we have. But we're just getting some of that premium money back.
The reason I asked why is because I was just kind of confused, so it's the whole pool.
Yes, it's the whole Myrma
Okay,
pool.
gotcha. Okay.
And I don't know how many cities that entails, but it's a lot. Okay. Next is, it's a request to pay the $7,500, which is half of our agreement for the Ozarks Development Corporation for the Heritage Business Park over in Pomona. When it was developed, Mountain View agreed to pay $15,000 each year. The past several years, the Mountain View Resource and Development Corporation has paid the other half, the $7,500, and the city has requested that Mountain View Resource and Development pay that second half again this year. I have not heard their response, but they have always been very supportive. So at this time, our first payment of $7,500 is due the end of January. I'm asking for a motion to approve that payment of $7,500. And then the next payments are not due till April and July, and we will have the answer from Mountain View Resource and Development before then. And I do know that the $7,500 was included in the budget. We have a motion for payment. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote.
Perry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Number 7, the purchase of police radar units. I understand this is another 100% reimbursement, but we need to make the payment first for a total of $3,550, and Chief Swain will address the council.
Yes, that is correct. Request tonight, as part of an ongoing MoDOT grant that the department is working. If you see the quote there from Stalker Radar, it's $3,550. For the budget of the grant, we were actually granted $3,795, so we are under what we were awarded for that, for the 2 Stalker radars. The MoDOT grant is ongoing, like HMV enforcement, because we are down a couple radar units in our patrol cars. They went ahead and awarded us the grant money to purchase radars for our patrol units. And this is a bid out through the state, so this is a state contract bid. I know Judy likes things to be bid out, so this is actually part of a state award contract bid, so it went through a bid review process, and that's how it was awarded as part of the grant. So my only request tonight is that we go ahead and we can make the purchase, and as soon as we receive the item and the invoice, we send that a paid invoice to the state, and the state is really good about reimbursement. It doesn't take very long.
The warranty on them is accurate, 36 months.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
We can install them.
Yes, the shop mechanic has installed several before, taking them out and installed them in different units, so he's very capable of installing them for us.
Do they have to go to the state highway patrol to be calibrated, or?
We actually are contracted with the state to have a calibration done, and so once they're installed, I'll call our guy that comes and does all of our calibrations, and he'll just come do them all at once, all the units at once.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, roll call vote.
Perry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Okay. Number 8 is Bill 1462, which will be for discussion purposes only. I know
I
the
will.
city clerk and city administrator, do you want to address this first? Do you want to ask your questions first?
It don't matter how you want to do it.
Okay.
I was just
Do you
gonna
want-
ask them a question.
Well, if you all will look at the things I gave you tonight, page numbers 14.
14.
Yeah, 14 is the resolution, or the ordinance. Page number 16 is the new MUPA bill. You'll notice that current month energy charge has gone up to .035. The next page is last month's, that charge was .029. So it went up in January. The next page, 18, 19, and 20, that is December's usage. You've got the column that's actual used, it tells you residential, commercial, industrial. And if you notice, the industrial is paying 7 cents a kilowatt. Needless to say, that's real close to what we pay for by the time you figure that wages, vehicles, the show me power, that's real close. down at the very bottom, page number 20, the very bottom of this, I put residential, how much totally they used that month, how much we billed for that, how much the average. So residential, 1,359,937 kilowatts. They paid $168,676.31 total, average of 12 cents per kilowatt. Same with all the other, and we're paying 11 cents a kilowatt for the power. Just taking the figure off of that MUPA bill of how much we paid for 2,339,555 kilowatts. We paid 11 cents per kilowatt. So it's just the facts of what happened in December. I can do it for an entire year if you want it, or yeah, the interdepartmental is paying 6 cents, which I know we're paying for it, it's interdepartmental, it's city, but that department's only being charged 6 cents out of their budget for things we're paying 11 cents for. So we probably do need to adjust that as well. And the industrial, like I said, is paying 7 cents.
And we're paying 11.
And we're paying 11.
Was these corrected when, in 24 we raised it as penny? Was all of them changed then, or can you tell?
I can't really tell. On these sheets, I put down the rates. These are the rates that are in the computer. It's what we've been charging people.
Well, the reason I asked you that question, because I know, because we had the old ordinance showing residential and commercial. But looking through this, I didn't know we had industrial commercial, industrial outside the city commercial. I mean, I didn't know we had all these others, so, and we, on our ordinance, we only had residential and commercial, so we couldn't check them up against nobody. That's why I asked you the question.
That old ordinance, and I should have brought it with me, the old ordinance that you passed last year, or whenever it was you did the last one, it had underneath these, the squares with the prices in it, it said industrial and gave an explanation, and these prices seem to go along with that ordinance. They're just, we're given deep discounts for the people that are using the most power. But
Well, that's
we're not
what
getting a
that's
discount for
rating
using
for
more.
the tier, that's what the tiered rating
That
did.
tiered rate,
I was gonna
Is
say, on
really
the tiered
skewed.
rate on our ordinances, the more you use, the cheaper it got, and I don't think that's fair for citizens or corporations. I think we're looking at the right way with it being the flat rate. The question I was gonna ask was, Trish says, have you looked or asked our electric department about the $750 per meter? Will that cover a 100 amp meter now?
No, it actually won't. I did speak to the supervisor, that with prices going up, his concern is copper.
Right.
Copper is what's increasing drastically. So his suggestion was to, for the 100 amp, go to $800, and then for the 200 amp, go to $1,100, and then for the commercial three-phase, to go to $2,000. And he thinks that should cover all the increases coming this year.
And that's because of copper.
Well, and the meters.
And the meters.
The meters, copper.
Do we ever figure our wages in there? Whenever we're figuring these prices on these meters?
We did on this one for the 800, not 100%, it would not cover the labor, but it would cover a portion of it,
The 800 would.
the 800.
Okay.
They're also concerned about the current transformers for the commercial three-phase, and that's why they upped it, the $200.
I think they've went up every year, or every time we order them, haven't we?
They do, even mid-year, they go up.
And if you notice on the page 18, 19, and 20, the proposed column at the very end, you can take your meter fee for residential down to $10 and take your cost per kilowatt, either 11 or 12, is going to make the residential pay about what they pay now. But they are still paying enough that we're not losing money.
If we get the corporation or the business up to be paying fair, at least what we're
Yeah.
paying for.
So then, we're proposing that the meter charge that, the proposed ordinance that we're just using for discussion purposes, instead of $14.80, it's gonna be 10.
I think 10 is a fairer price. It's more in line with what other cities do.
And then instead of 13, you're talking about 11 or 12.
Yes, I would go with 12, just because I think 11, like you see, the price just went up in NUPA, what they're charging us, and I think if you go down to
Because
11.
11 wouldn't cover what we show billed for December. That's
Now,
what it was.
when I figured 11 on residential, it's gonna pay, I'm sorry, I got a headlight in my eyes. It'll pay the bills, you know, the cost.
Yeah, okay, if you're looking at on page 18, the 11 doesn't cover the 168, but the 12 would. Or am I not looking at this right?
I think that, yeah.
So
And then
we need to make it at least 12 then. So then what do you do for the outside the city limits then? Are we gonna double that?
this is 11.
Well, we're going, what, 5 cents more? The outside the city limits?
Well, it was proposed 6, so. we make it
Honestly, we
12.
don't have a lot of people outside the city limits, so it's not gonna make a huge difference. If you look at the outside the city limits, you've got 2 customers.
And it's not much.
They use about 850 kilowatts a month, so it's not gonna make a huge difference,
That we need
but you
at
need,
least the charge there. So if we make that even 15 for the meter charge and then 17 for the,
If we do
per
the,
kilowatt,
yeah, do the 6 cents.
Okay,
the 6 cents
12 and
more.
6 is 18.
am I not reading this right on page 20? Okay, it says right here, residential average is 12 cents KW, right?
Yes,
Okay, and so we're just gonna do 12 cents?
Okay.
We're not gonna raise it?
that 12 cents is everything. That's their meter charge, their,
Right, I understand that, but I mean, that's like breaking even. I mean, that's just,
No, we'll be going over it there.
pardon?
We'll be going over it there. And then on top of that, some of
No, no,
our,
what,
No, this on page 20 is what it, because it says,
on page 20, if you look, it says residential, the amount of KWs used, and then the billed
It's
amount,
only
it
12
equals to 12 cents.
right?
Okay, all we're doing there is trading, it seemed like, would be trading dollars for dollars.
No, if you look at the top line, it says used and how much was billed would be 270,377.52. And what MUPA charged us was 249,872.
Right.
So that would be 20,000.
But this,
But that's
the
not gonna pay
residential
anybody's
says,
wage.
but this,
I mean, $31,000 a
That's the
month is
total
not
number
going to
of all
pay.
these.
Yes, that we bill, that's Memphis bill, so this would be what we brought.
Yeah, I see what she's getting
Right.
at there. We
But
pay
what he's
11
asking
cents.
is, we're just gonna leave this at 12 cents is what,
That 12 cents on that chart is including your meter fee and your price per kilowatt.
Right.
We're talking about a $10 meter fee plus 12 cents a kilowatt.
Right.
Okay,
And
but I see where it says,
our commercial has not been paying even what we've been paying. So theirs is gonna have to catch up to pay what the city's paying for it, at least.
well, that's what, I mean,
And
if
that
you look
will-
at this,
that
it
will-
says 11 cents is what, overall, we're paying 11 cents at the bottom. NVUA charge, 11 cents, okay. We're I'm, okay, $31,000 a month. I realize what that is, but at the end of the year, that's not gonna keep the equipment up, that's not gonna buy any transformers at all hardly. It's gonna pay decent wages, maybe keep the trucks up. We've got, what, 3 people hired? So half of what we would make in a year's time is gonna go to wages and benefits. And we had discussed this at the work session and had decided to actually go with 13 cents because we needed a little bit of cushion there and to raise commercial
But the reason we
to
we talked
16.
about it, right, for commercial to go up, but then when she says on all of this, industrial court, they've been paying what, 6 and 7 cents?
Yes,
So when we
ma'am.
bring them up to normal, we're gonna make more than what we're making now for sure on the commercial rates.
Well, yeah, but even if you just, okay, I mean, I understand what you're saying there, I sure do.
See,
Interdepartmental,
this
but
is
that's the
showing
city
here that
paying it.
the industrial and the,
Interdepartmental is what we use.
is what we use, okay. And the industrial on this chart is only paying 7 cents, where we're paying 11 cents.
Right, I
So
understand
why
it, but
should
it's only
residents pay
$4,000 a month.
13 and leave them there?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's $4,500 a month. If we doubled that, you're right, it would be $8,000, $9,000 a month. Okay, the interdepartmental is what we use, so we would raise that up, but it's still this, I mean, somebody's gotta pay the city's electric bill that we use.
Right.
Well, that's
That
what I'm
comes out
saying
of
is,
their budget, that comes out of the budget, so that should be at least what we're paying for, coming out of their, figured in their budget, but when you got industrial paying 7 cents, and we're gonna ask our citizens to pay 13,
I just said, if you doubled it, Judy, to 14 cents,
Well, then-
you're looking at 8,000
right?
or
well,
9,000 a
then-
month.
And this figures that we're looking at here is gonna go higher if you raise that up to 14. Or 16, like we discussed.
okay, so, looking at these figures on page 18. Residential inside city will be $10 meter charge, 12 cents per kilowatt hour. Outside will be $15 meter charge and 18 cents per kilowatt hour on residential. Now, on commercial, previously it was I don't know where they got that. So if we're going, are we going to double the meter charge on residential, or on commercial?
Well, they was paying $24.64. And the citizens was paying $14.80.
and propose, so if we drop that back to 20 then, and 25 for outside of city limits for a meter charge.
Outside is paying 40 now, is that what you're showing?
Well, that was what was proposed in this
Okay.
ordinance.
We're not billing anyone for outside commercial, outside the city limits.
Okay.
So if you know of anyone who's outside the city limits that's commercial, please let me know.
So then we would need,
So you're saying bring
12,
the,
we would need at least 15 per kilowatt hour for inside city limits. And 21
For which one? 12?
for commercial. Because we're going to eliminate these.
So we
Are
get
we going to eliminate the
tier,
make it across the board for, and it would be these 4 rates?
what's this gonna do to our small business people? I know the people that, using 63,000 kilowatts, it's really gonna hammer them, but when you take our small business and it's gonna double their electric rate, it's gonna hurt our small businesses, right?
Your small business, that bottom tier, they were paying a lot.
Well, I
Small,
know,
it's
it's just
just
like
like
the
the
residents
residential.
that was using 400, they was paying more per kilowatt than the resident that was paying, using 2,000 or 3,000, and that's not fair. But this, I think this is gonna hurt our small business that uses 4,000 or 5,000 kilowatt. And you take the large business that's using 63 to 70,000, I know it's gonna hit them, but they make, that big business making the big dollars. We kinda gotta look out for our small business, because we've got a lot of them that,
I think this one is still something we need to come back to since we have new information on.
yeah, let us
Okay,
look this over, that
Then I ask for a motion to table this.
I make a motion to postpone this to a different meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, are we gonna table this or are we gonna postpone it?
We'll table it, we do later
Let's
tonight, so.
let's table it until
postpone to next
February then.
week. Postpone it to February.
Postpone it.
Yeah,
what
table
about
it.
the
We
meter
have to do it
part?
this
Do we need to
tonight.
go ahead and do something about the meters
Do
itself?
do we need to go ahead and pass that on the meters in case we have, we gotta get our cost out of that,
We do.
so.
If
can
we
we-
could approve that portion of it so that we can change.
And then we can come back and amend the front part of the ordinance.
Yeah, 'cause
Yes.
we really need to sit down and think this over before we,
So I make a motion that in ordinance 1793.
Well, we're not gonna do any ordinance, so if you want to make a motion for those particular charges, new service installation charges, let's
That's what
do
I
a
was gonna
motion
say.
on, and not any part of the ordinance, we're just,
Well, it is part of the
I
ordinance.
know it will become part of the ordinance, but the motion tonight needs to be just the new service installation charges.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adjust the new service, the new meter from 750 to 800 for the 100 amp, for the 200 amp up to $1,100, and for the 3-phase up to $2,000.
Please add to your motion to postpone the change in electric rates until our February
And
meeting.
I make a motion to postpone the electric rates until the February meeting.
Terry, can you repeat that motion and then I'll ask for a second?
Okay, she's gonna have to go slower on those prices, $750 to $800.
Yeah, just say, just change the residential 100 amp to 800, the 200 amp to 1100, and the three-phase to 2000.
Okay, motion to adjust new electric service from $750 to $800 for 100 amp. From $1,000 to $1,100 for 200 amp. For three-phase, make it $2,000 and postpone electric rates to February.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a second?
One second.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Perry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander, Coulter.
Aye.
Okay, number 9 is Bill 1469.
You will want to look at the new ones that were given to you.
In that new,
Would be pages
21 to 27.
21 to 27.
So the underline is what they changed.
The underlined is what was added from the attorney.
And we do need to correct on page 21, before we even go any further, that where it says code of ethics, ethics needs to be conduct, because that is what the rest of the policy uses the word conduct. So in the very introductory title, and then down under the section 24.3, the word ethics is also used, and it should be conduct.
Mine shows that.
no,
Okay,
oh yeah, that's got conduct down here.
On number 1.
Oh, yeah, number 1, right in this one.
So that it's known as code of conduct instead of code of ethics. Were there copies of this on the table?
Yes, the copies on the table are all the new ones.
Do you want to read it, the first reading, bill number 1469 by title?
Bill number 1469, ordinance 1796, an ordinance amending the city code for the city of Mountain View, Missouri by adding section 24.300, establishing a code of conduct for the Board of Aldermen of the city of Mountain View, Missouri, in order to govern the conduct of council members and other city officials.
Now, we did, as just a side note, we did pass a rules of order policy back in '24, but there never has been a code of conduct for the council approved. Before I ask for a motion, are there any questions or comments?
This is basically what we tried to do a year ago.
Yes.
Okay. It's
in different format. It's been reviewed by the new city attorney associate.
Correct.
Yes, I reviewed it, and there may be a couple small changes, but otherwise it's pretty much in the form if you guys had reviewed it last meeting.
Do we have a motion on bill number 1469?
I'll make that motion to approve with the 2 adjustments.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote on the first reading, unless there's any further discussion. Roll call vote on the first reading of bill number 1469, ordinance 1796.
Harry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
We will now have a second reading.
Bill number 1469, ordinance number 1796, an ordinance amending the city code for the city of Mountain View, Missouri by adding section 24.300, establishing a code of conduct for the Board of Aldermen of the city of Mountain View, Missouri, in order to govern the conduct of council members and other city officials.
Do we have a motion on the second reading of bill 1469, ordinance 1796?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Harry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is the Bill 1470, ordinance 1797, to adopt the trash rates which have been approved previously, except for previously what was approved did not include a violation which shows on page 28. Because there's been quite a bit of controversy about the city, that all solid waste is to be picked up by the city, and if the city cannot provide that service, then the city has the option to allow the outside waste contract, because we do have outside waste contractors that are doing business in the city without a city license and without approval of the city. Our sanitation department has asked that this violation of a penalty of $100 per day will be enforced.
If I may add
Yes,
something.
please.
The sanitation supervisor approached me today and would like to reduce that rate to $50 per day and give them 24 hours to remove the dumpster.
If you will, read bill number 1470 by title, first reading.
Bill number 1470, ordinance 1797, an ordinance amending chapter 60, solid waste for the city of Mountain View, Missouri.
Do we have a motion on the proposed ordinance to include the violation for an outside contractor's dumpster in violation of city policy? The penalty of $50 per day with 24-hour notice to remove the dumpster. to approve.
With the adjustments.
We have a motion, is there a second?
No second.
Is there any discussion on this proposed?
Yes, I'd like to say something since social media got in on this, Ms. Mayor. I know they was burning up about the $1 for the recycle bags, and we got cut up one side and down the other. That's one reason why I made the motion to keep our citizens' trash at $20 instead of $22 like we was asked to do. And I'm sorry, everybody's threatening not to recycle now because they gotta pay $1 for 10 bags, which is 10 cents a bag. I had a lady on the phone today giving me a problem about it. I explained to her the black bags you buy at the grocery store is gonna cost you 17 cents a piece. And one way I'd like the citizens to look at it is that if you quit recycling, our sanitation department pays for theirself with their recycling. So when they quit paying for theirself and you don't want to recycle, then you won't, and I know you have a right to buy them or not buy them, but you're not going to have a right not to pay your trash when we have to raise it to pay for it. So, you know, I thought I was doing the citizens a favor by keeping it at $20 and still got monster-fied on social media that we have to pay $1 for a roll of, and I've got the invoices here with me if you want to see them. The roll of the recycle bags cost us $2.50, cost the city $2.50. So we're still absorbing that cost. We're just asking for $1 for a roll. And I'm sorry it's inconveniencing a lot of our citizens.
And again, social media really blows a lot of things out of proportion because anybody that is a conscientious recycler, I believe, will continue to recycle.
Yes.
There's always going to be those that speak out against it, but
I just
I
wanted to
just think it's a
explain
great
my
thing.
side.
So we are ready for a roll call vote.
Harry?
Aye.
McAdams?
Aye.
Wallander?
Aye.
Coulter?
Aye.
Okay. Next is our Bill 1471.
Do we need a second reading?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I stretched that
She
one out.
distracted me. Okay. Second reading of Bill 1470.
Bill number 1470, ordinance 1797, an ordinance amending chapter 60, solid waste for the city of Mountain View, Missouri.
Do we have a motion on the second reading of Bill number 1470?
I'll make that motion.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I have, the $50 a day, 24 hours to remove. The problem has always been that we don't know they're there until it's basically too late. All right, are we gonna, they gotta come to the city to get a license for such. Are we gonna issue something for them to have to put on that dumpster so that if the police department or if the sanitation department drives by it, they can look at it and see that that it's been paid?
Well, the way the ordinance has already been written, that is the city cannot provide a dumpster.
I understand such, but I also
The sanitation
understand,
department has to give, so,
what I'm trying to get at is, you know, to enforce this, we have to do something. It's just like the parking down here at the airport. you're gonna allow them to park there, they gotta get a permit that they can put in their window. The same thing about a dumpster, so that they can drive by and say, well, that permit's on that dumpster, so it's all okay.
But it's up to the sanitation department supervisor to notify the city if he gives anybody permission to do this. So that should all be through the city and the sanitation department, is my understanding.
Correct.
So if they apply for a business license to do this,
Well, they have to apply for a business license to use their dumpster in town.
correct. But if our policy is that we do not allow them to do business in the town, in the city, without the sanitation department's supervisor's approval, then they wouldn't be issued a business license. Any other questions or discussion? Roll call vote.
Harry,
Aye.
McAdams. Aye. Wallander. Aye. Coulter.
Aye.
Okay, now, bill number 1471. This is so that we can define and put some procedures in place to obtain registrations for the businesses that are conducting businesses in the city of Mountain View. Because our process is very lax. If people come in, they're issued a business license. Upon renewal, they pay their $20, they're issued a business license. Our city code has like 50-some different types of businesses that 50% of them at least don't even exist anymore. So this is defining and putting into place some procedures. It does include a slight increase. And do you want to address any of this before we introduce this bill?
So the new one on page 32 is from the attorney's suggestions in wording on some of it, which is new.
Can you speak into the mic?
Well, in case she needs to.
Okay.
However, on the Sunday sales, it's, currently, it's $300. Willow Tree is $300. This price may want to be discussed again prior to dropping it down to such amount.
What page is that on?
So
34. Are you saying it was $300 before we even looked, I mean,
correct, it's currently $300 for the Sunday sales.
well, I make a motion, we bring that back up then.
Well, let's get,
Okay,
we're just introducing this right now. And I know it's called an amount of tax, but it is to cover the cost of registering. The comprehensive plan that is being conducted by SCOCOG that will be working throughout the city. I mean, for any major corporation to come into the city, they're gonna wanna know what businesses are available to the city. And we just do not have a good handle on what businesses are being conducted or what types of businesses are being conducted. If you will, please, Terry, introduce bill number 1471 by title.
Bill number 1471, ordinance 1798, an ordinance amending chapter 54 business licenses of the city code of ordinances for the city of Mountain View, Missouri.
And as mentioned, the one thing that, because all business license fees have been $20 per year, with the exception of the liquor licenses.
Well, other things as well, not just that one, because I had somebody come in and say they've been paying $25 for years for theirs, so.
Okay.
But on this one, I realized after we had the discussion that it was that much.
Right, because the Monday, the Monday through Saturday was 100 and the Sunday sales was 300.
Yes, and we've been paying 40 on our business license and then 300 on a Sunday.
Yeah. So, see, the process and procedures have not been
So,
defined across the board, definitely.
so on the Monday through Saturday, that has been dropped to 30 and it's currently 40.
That's what we paid was 40
Okay.
for the Monday through Saturday and then 300 on a Sunday.
But is the Monday, oh, there it is, liquor Monday through, okay. So,
We need a motion to discuss.
right, we need a motion on the introduction of the bill number 1471.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the bill, correct?
Right.
Do we have a second?
I have a question.
I'll
In
We
a
second.
need a
moment.
second before we can discuss.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Now we're ready for discussion. Hold on just a moment about the, okay. The Monday through Saturday was 100. The Sunday liquor sales was 300. Okay, got that established.
So we need to move, are we moving them back up to 100 and 300?
That's
Well-
going to be a discussion.
Okay.
Okay, let's get her question out first.
On the food trucks, why are you wanting to charge 50 instead of 30 like everybody else's, except for the mid-scale landlords and the large-scale landlords?
Okay,
Can you explain our thought process?
if you've got a reason, yes.
So our thought process on it wasn't specific to locals, it was more to the travelers. And Calvin brought up the fact that we wouldn't be able to prove that they're paying the taxes on the food that they're serving here in town. Do you pay taxes on the food that you serve here in town to the state for that?
I don't own the food trucks, but they pay their own taxes.
Well,
so
I
yes.
know, I'm just, that's where we weren't sure if the ones that travel in, like Chick-fil-A and Annie Ann's and all of that stuff, so that's why we had
So
discussed.
why don't you ask them?
Because it would be easier to do this.
So it's easier to run them out of town
Annie
by
Ann?
charging them a $50 fee. I've already got a truck that wanted to put in a full restaurant here because they've done so well. But now, they don't want to come here. They don't want to come back.
Well, if they put in a full restaurant, that means they would own a building.
Right. They thought about that, but now they realize how crazy things are ran around here, so they have no desire to come here.
Well, I mean, if they had a business that was working here, it would be $30.
Right.
The food truck, they can, they drive in.
Right. My
Okay.
trucks are here maybe 6 times a month, or 6 times a year. So why would they want to pay a $50 business permit if they maybe come 6 times? Maybe. Whenever somebody who
They're
is
not
here,
paying for a
when
building.
someone is here 365 days a year and they only have to pay 30. So are you gonna charge, are you gonna charge the little man that sells watermelons, are you gonna charge him $50?
You have to look at the food trucks different than somebody's gonna be here 365 days.
Why?
Because they are in a building and we get sales tax off of
Oh.
a restaurant.
There it is, right there.
We do make, that's what the city survives on, is the sales tax.
You think that whenever I have a food truck, that all these people that come in aren't gonna stop somewhere else in town and spend some more money?
That's very true.
Very true. So every vendor that's in the flea market, are you gonna charge them $50? Every person up there at the farmer's market, are you gonna charge them $50?
They don't run their business through their booth.
They don't pay sales tax, is that what you're saying?
The business is the one who has the business license, is it not?
Okay, so I can buy a business license and put whatever I want on my property then, right? I'm happy to pay the $30.
You guys have had an issue with the food trucks at my property since it came out that that's what I was gonna do. Nobody had an issue with food trucks whenever it was just the Mexican truck at Walmart and Chick-fil-A every once in a while. But now everybody seems to have an issue with food trucks. Do you guys not want people coming into town? Do you not want that?
Do you realize that the food trucks that do come into town take away from the local businesses that serve food?
How can they take away from them whenever they're not open? The Mexican restaurant is not open on Mondays. Ron's closes at
The food
2.
trucks that come in, that are random to come in,
That is
take
not my
away from the
problem.
local people.
People need options. So if somebody else opens another restaurant, you're gonna tell them, oh, you're taking away from Ron's, or you're taking away from, whoever else is.
Okay, we have got to go ahead, and we are noting,
I have another question.
okay,
What is considered a special event? Because special events are gonna be exempt, apparently.
that would be like our Pioneer Days or the food festival that is sponsored.
Why are
by
they
the
exempt?
city.
Are you talking about exempt from paying for a license?
For a business license, yeah.
Well, they pay a fee to be in it. Did you know that?
Yeah, I do know that.
So they're paying for a space already.
My trucks are paying
That
for
is the
space.
thought.
You think trucks are gonna come in and pay for a space to park and then also pay a business license? They're not. What do you guys
Well,
want?
we had
You want me to just
six-
not have food trucks? You want me to just shut it down and let that place sit and rot like it has been for the last how many years?
We have had several vendors, or food truck vendors come in and apply for a business license, because that's what the city code says, that anybody that conducts business in the city of Mountain View must have a business
Okay,
license.
then the person who sells watermelons better have a business license.
Yes, we
And
have,
everybody
we
at the
have
flea
said-
markets and everybody at the farmers markets, they should have business license. If we're gonna do it fair, then let's do it
a
fair.
lot of them do, and because we've never had this defined before, it has to be passed before it can be enforced.
But that still doesn't make any sense why food trucks would be $20 more. Just because you think that it's gonna give other businesses a hard time?
Well, that is something that we have to take into consideration. So, okay, that's duly noted, that there is a question on there that has been expressed. Let's take up these other issues that we need to discuss, and then we will try to come to some conclusion here. We have e-commerce business. And all of these that I'm reading off now, the fee would go from 20 to 30. So we have an e-commerce business license, standard home business license, standard business license. They're all $30. The temporary vendor license does show it's $50 per year. We regularly set up a temporary location. Smoke or vape shop license, 30. The liquor Monday through Saturday license. Now this shows 30, but it was 100.
That was on the work session.
So we need to know if we're leaving it at 100 or are we reducing it?
Let's move it back up to 100 if that's what it already was.
It wasn't, it was 40.
It was 40?
But it's, so the way that it was in the work session, I think that we need to put the Sunday back to the 300, and that includes the Monday through Saturday.
Well, yeah, that would definitely make sense.
Back to 100.
No, the Sunday, put it back to the 300. After we did this Friday, I went and looked at both of ours that we have, and it was 40 on the regular business license and then 300 on the Sunday.
So why was it 40? Was that 20 for the business license and then 20 for the liquor license Monday through Saturday?
I didn't look at the details, I just looked at the price because I knew it was more on the Sunday one, but I wanted to make sure first. so when I looked at it, that's what it said on it. So I-
Because we really do not have anybody that just has a Monday through Saturday liquor license.
Most everybody sells on Sunday. So I would put that Sunday back to 300, which includes your regular Monday through Saturday business license. The way that it was worded in,
So the 300 would include.
But
The
you said-
300 should read that it includes a standard business license
Are you saying on
with
the
additional,
ordinance, Trish, it was 100 for the liquor license Monday through Saturday?
Correct.
That's what it reads on the ordinances.
That's what it was, right?
yes.
Gosh, I don't remember.
on the one that we did for the work session or the ordinances now.
The original
The original.
ordinances, which I do not have with me.
Before the work session, it said 100 and 300. But we don't have anybody that just has a Monday through Saturday. And that's so regulated by the state. But
So do we want to put that back to 100? Which is what it is currently?
I mean, if they're doing it just Monday through Saturday, then
well, it would need to be for a liquor
Right.
license because of the state regulations. I would think that if anybody would come in and want one for Monday through Saturday, then yes, it would be 100, which would include the standard business, just like the Sunday
so with
includes it.
the purpose of raising or having that higher is what specifically? Because,
The 100? Oh, that's just what it is current. So
That's-
Well,
yes,
Here's the original.
is it 100?
It was Sunday.
yeah, that's the original, did say 100, yes, that's what's in our city code book even.
See, that's
See,
Monday
that
through
was 100,
Saturday.
and then it came down to
What did it say for Sunday sales or something?
not include Sunday, and then Sunday was down here.
Or something. Okay, 300.
Because Sunday sales, whether that
No,
M
not
needs to
Sunday
include
sales,
that
why would you have
standard
5 Mondays
license.
through Saturday?
That's why she
So-
said they need to be combined.
go ahead and do the 100 on the liquor for Monday through Saturday and the 300
Because the other
on
one was 1 week.
Sunday,
and it
Yes.
does not include
and that
Sunday.
includes your standard.
Standard business.
Yeah, that makes, I mean, that makes.
So
more
on
sense
page
than-
33, on F, the fee would be 100 instead of 30.
Right.
For Monday through Saturday license?
Yes. And on 34M is 300, which includes a standard business license with the additional regulated sale of alcohol.
What does it say?
I copied that from F because it needs to, it's a standard business license with the additional regulated sale of alcohol on Sunday. Or it should read, it should read from Sunday through Saturday. Just like F reads, sale of alcohol from Monday through Saturday. The Sunday sales liquor should say regulated sale of alcohol from Sunday through Saturday. Any questions on those two?
Okay, so I'm a little bit confused. They're gonna pay $300 per license to sell alcohol Monday through Sunday, right?
Yeah, or Sunday through Saturday.
Sunday through Saturday. okay.
Yeah,
This is just, the $100 is just,
for Monday through Saturday.
No Sunday sale.
Because M should read just like F, except for the difference between Sunday. Like F says, does not include Sunday sales. M will include Sunday sales.
Karen's got her hand up.
have a question. Since you're charging liquor stores $100 to sell liquor, why are you letting people, smoke shops sell CBD products for only $30?
Well, that's a good question, another thought. There's other places that sell liquor on Sunday, isn't there?
Go ahead, but they have to purchase it, you have to purchase it.
Sunday sales
Through
license.
the city and.
Okay.
So it's,
I guess the sale of
Because we have-
CBD projects are not regulated like the alcohol is. I really don't know, but that's another question to look into.
Well, if they impair you, you're not supposed to drive under the, right?
Right. It's still
CBD
federal.
does not impair you. CBD is the
THC.
non-THC. THC products are the ones that impair
Hearing
you.
about it.
But if they're selling CBD products, chances are they're gonna have the CBD with the THC, in most
Yeah, I
of
don't
those
know.
shops.
Are there regulations on the Delta,
Pardon me?
the Delta products? Because doesn't that have?
In
Delta?
most of the Delta, you'll have you'll have the CBD available with the THC or without, it just depends on which ones you buy.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
Okay, at least this is a place to start, so that's something that we'll have to check into then. So banking, the Airbnb, we've really got to get a handle on that somewhere with some regulations because we don't have any. And our management properties, we've got rental properties that people own individually, but we've also got rental properties that are 50 units, so we've got to have some kind of regulations on these things.
Nan's got something to say.
Go ahead.
Will, is this a license for the landlord to buy? What, and I'm only here because of what I heard around town, that we was gonna have to come up with $200 per unit. And I don't think that's right, it don't sound reasonable to me, but I'd like to know, what you're thinking, what's the charge for?
To conduct business in the city of Mountain View. So, but I don't know where, it wouldn't be per unit.
There's no.
If you, to me, my thought on this, the way I was reading it and understood it, that if you had, small scale, 3 to 10 properties, you'd pay $30 for a permit to
do that.
Not
Combined with it.
A business,
Not
yeah.
30 per unit, $30.
To manage up to 10.
3 to 10. 11 to 50 is $50, and 51 or more properties is $100.
That's very
Because
reasonable.
per
If you're in business and can't make $30, you need to get out. I'll see
Well,
y'all.
either that or you don't have no windows in them, that's all I gotta say. It's another one of them rumors that was started all over town.
Everything 30 except the, okay, we need to go back to that temporary vendor license because besides the food trucks that come in, we do have like Vendors Row. We can't,
So the
the
ones,
peddlers,
we discussed the ones with the booths, so like the big booths and stuff, they have their own business license.
but who collects and pays the sales tax? That's, because we had a discussion about that.
We would have to ask somebody who runs the flea market, so we would have to ask either Sarah, because my understanding it would be specifically her, because she collects the sales tax on the
And then
product.
she pays the bill.
Yes. But that's my understanding, is she's the one that collects it.
My understanding is the same.
And you-
The flea market collects the tax and pays it.
Yes, the individual pays the booth fee, and then they pay a percentage of what they sell out of their booth.
So
To
those
Sarah.
people are what this says
To
are
the
exempt.
individual.
and vendors renting space for special events. Those are the ones that we were talking about, like Pioneer Day or the Food Truck Festival. So what other vendors, we've got the food trucks, the one that sets up at Walmart, there's one that sets up at Mercy sometimes, and we've got those that set up
You've got
at the corner of Main and Elm.
Charlie's, for local, you have Charlie's. I'm not sure what your name of it is. And then you've got, there's one other local food truck that I know of.
There's Bevy's.
What's that one that
What
used
is
to
it?
set up?
Bevy's.
Yes. So you have locals here specific to, and then you have, is Chico's local?
Bevy's does local.
No, Chico, is that hers? Chico's.
Chico's is from
So
down
is
by
there any
Crawford.
reason, I know the tax issue came up, but to me, even any business, it's, we can't, we can ask them to have a business license and provide us that no tax due letter, but that's as far as our liability goes, whether they pay their taxes or not. So even those that come into Main and First Street would still pay their own taxes. So is there really any reason for that not to be $30?
So on this one, we could do 30 for local, and then 50 for anybody that is not.
And how are we going to define local then? Because most food trucks travel.
Part of the reason that I was the one that said something about the temporary vendor's license of $50 per year is because over the years, I've heard all kinds of complaints about them not paying their fair share of sales tax and whatnot like that. I actually suggested 5 years, 6 years ago, well then charge them more money and quit complaining about it. But, I mean, realistically, what Gail just said is we really, I mean, that's our liability. If they bring in a no sales tax, if they don't owe anything, we'll just have to issue that. But also at the same time, I really don't want to listen to somebody complain that the food trucks are not paying their sales tax. That was, I mean,
That's been going on
over
for
the years,
years,
I've
people.
heard that. I couldn't tell you how much.
It's true.
How many times have you heard about the streets?
It's
What are we
not-
doing about that?
It's
Okay,
not
but see, I'm not
specific
trying to be argumentative. What I'm trying to do is tell you the reason behind this was so that the complaints would stop. If the streets were paved every day, there would still be somebody complaining about a
And if my
street.
trucks pay their sales tax, somebody's still gonna complain.
It's
Yeah.
not specific to you. This was never specific.
Right.
Actually, it
No,
is.
it was
No,
never.
it's
This
not.
has never come up.
It was never
Chico's
specific
has
to
been
you.
coming for over a year.
Well, I'm telling you, 5 years ago, it came up because I
Yes.
was here at meetings and heard such.
Yes, yes, it did,
And
But we are
I'm
just now
sorry.
trying to define something and bring this to the forefront, because all we had in our code book was the $20, the $100, and the $300, and like 52 or 53 types of businesses.
From the 1970s.
They was complaining about it, like Calvin said, 5 years ago when they started to bring, what do they call it, the music fest or the
There was a food truck
With the
festival,
food truck.
but still, it
thing.
doesn't matter what happened 5 years ago. We're trying
But
to do
I'm trying
something
to
now.
explain to her that it's not because what she's got started. I think it's great down there. Everybody brags about the food from there. It don't have nothing to do with one person. It really doesn't. Because this has been discussed for many, like Calvin said, like 5 years.
And it really doesn't matter whether you charge them $30 or $50, it's still gonna fall back on that person, whether they pay their taxes or not. So why should they have to pay $50? I mean, why can't they just pay $30 too? Because it all comes down to honesty.
Right. And the whole point of this is so the businesses can be registered in the city of Mountain View.
Well, technically, wouldn't the business be First and Main? Or, I'm sorry, First and Elm?
No.
So,
No, but she's just renting space to them.
exactly
She's not
though,
holding it.
she is renting space though. So why
So
wouldn't,
that's,
why wouldn't she
But she
be
would have to
responsible
have the
for the
business
business license?
I'm happy to buy the business license. I'll pay $50 for the business license.
but when she registers that location as a business with the city of Mountain View, and if you're renting space to people, then yes, you are conducting business at that space.
But like at the flea markets and stuff, and when I had my business, I charged a fee for the booth. I collected the sales tax and I paid that sales tax.
Right.
So that is the difference, is if she has the license, then you're technically asking her to collect the taxes on their day's sales, and then she has to send them in. That's the only way you're gonna make sure that they pay those taxes.
And like Pioneer Days, you would probably, Chamber would probably pay a fee for the whole day, rather than all those vendors pay a fee plus their sales
Well,
tax.
and that's why this
That's
is
why
put
they
in
have,
the renting
special
space for
events and
special events,
Right.
and that's Pioneer Day
I didn't really read that. I'll
and
shut
the
up.
food truck. That's under D. Okay.
I have no
so-
problem with lowering it down to $30. You know, one way or the other, but
I don't want
And since
everybody.
we've
corrected
come
on
up
that.
with so many possibilities where this will fit, because I know our old ordinance had something about a peddler's license in there.
Right.
And that's where that, the watermelons and that stuff.
The peddler's license use came up from a guy bringing a meat truck into Mountain View, and he would park it. And then, remember that, and then they would charge him, he wouldn't offer to pay it, and they would have to go collect it from him.
I want, okay, you know everything back there, Linda, I wanna know who the corn doctor was in Mountain View that had to buy the license.
Just what?
The corn doctor, you know, people used to get corn on their toes, and there was a corn doctor here.
I think
Oh, I
that's.
It
didn't
was in
call-
our ordinance.
I didn't-
Sherry
Yeah,
read
there
them
are-
all to us.
Yes, there were several that are non-existent. Okay, so, maybe to be more equitable, because that temporary vendor license is going to apply to probably a whole lot more people than we think it will be, but we've got to start somewhere. So I am asking for, we have a motion and a second to approve this, but our discussion, if we make everything $30 except F, the Monday through Saturday license will be $100. J, the mid-scale landlord, 11 to 50 properties is 50. Large scale, 51 or more is 100. And the Sunday liquor sales M is 300. With the same applicable description as F regarding the sale of alcohol from Sunday through Saturday.
and then are you going to revisit the smoke and vape shops?
Yes,
or-
I have a survey, we need to research the regulations on that.
That be the regulations on the sale of CBD or marijuana or both? Is this a question?
On the smoke and vape shop license that sells cigarettes, vapes, or CBD products.
Okay.
Do gas stations also sell CDBG?
Well, the one, some of it does, yeah.
But they have a liquor.
I think so, ways like hemp and other things that were legalized through the constitutional amendments. And so I think that they are just treated more like straight retail
Okay.
normally, so.
So for right now, we are considering that on E, the smoke and vape shop would be the 30 regulated just like other retail. Okay. Can we amend that motion with these? Or add to the motion with these changes that I've just listed? Who made the motion and seconded it?
I did. I made the motion so we could discuss it.
Alter made the motion, Wallander second.
Okay.
We have it in here in this, or is it a different ordinance that we have for the no tax due paper?
That would be business license.
I know, do we have that on here specifically?
It's on the business license. Under the first section, to obtain a business license, the following is required: proper zoning for said business, proof of sales tax registration with the state of Missouri, no tax due statement from Secretary of State of Missouri, and all utility accounts must be in good standing. We are going to have to update our license application and also the license itself, because when the renewals come through, they have the name of the person that pays the $20 and the name of the business, no location or anything. So I'm learning there's a lot of businesses in Mountain View that I don't know where they exist because we don't have a location or anything on the renewal itself. But there are updates that need to be done.
You should have all that, Sherry, the chamber should have all that.
Well, there's a lot of businesses in the chamber that, there are a lot of businesses in the city of Mountain View that aren't members of the chamber though, so.
I know, but we had a book and we included every member.
Well, good.
I'm not every
That's a
member.
resource, yes.
No, not
Every
every
business?
member, but every business.
Yeah, that's a resource for us too, as a Chamber of Commerce. Okay, are we ready for a roll call vote?
Harry,
Got
We are-
another point of
Okay,
addition?
we're doing this with the changes, right?
Right, with
We
the,
didn't ever get a
And I'll
motion for
re-
that.
A
now I
motion.
ask for the motion to approve to be amended with these changes that I had just listed.
Okay, yes.
Do I need to list them again?
No, I have them
Yes.
down on my paper.
Okay.
McAdams,
Yes.
Wallander,
Yes.
Coulter.
Yes.
Did you get the vote, Calvin?
Yes.
Did you get all four?
Yes, I voted, I
Okay.
said yes.
I didn't hear it. Yes. Okay, we're ready for the second reading.
Okay. Bill number 1471, ordinance 1798. An ordinance amending chapter 54, business licenses of the city code of ordinances for the city of Mountain View, Missouri.
Do I have a motion to approve the second reading of bill number 1471?
I'll make that motion with the adjustments.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Harry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter. Aye.
Now we have bill number 1472. If you would introduce it, please, by title.
Bill number 1472, ordinance 1799, an ordinance amending chapter 45, building permits of the city code of ordinances for the city of Mountain View, Missouri.
Do I have a motion on bill number 1472? This again is something that needs to be brought up to date, policies and procedures put in place. The council did appoint a building inspector, Philip Peltz, who is our parks supervisor. This ordinance defines about the application, the costs associated with the building permits, residential, commercial, cell towers, new roof signs.
I'll make a motion
What is that motion?
to, on this ordinance, chapter 45, ordinance 1799,
Okay, a bill to approve.
to approve. And
Do we have a
open for
second?
discussion.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve bill number 1472. Now let's open for discussion.
Okay, the other day when we had our work session on this, I think we all come to agreement that it was gonna be just on new bills. Am I wrong on that? That's what my notes said. Because I think you're gonna have a lot of residents mad if you are gonna put a door or a new window in your house and you have to have it inspected. Or if I have to change a hot water heater, I've gotta have a permit to do that. And I'm sorry, guys, but I know how to put one in. I go to the store and get my own and put it in.
Well, I did bring up a list of approved contractors. And I'm not for sure who brought that up, the $100 for fixing the roof, or for shingling the roof. Okay, they come by and they inspect it and said, well, it wasn't shingled right. Okay, the city gets $100 for that, but the person that got the roof shingled goes, well, what do? Well, I don't, it's not shingled right, so guess what? It's your problem. And that's when I wouldn't say that if they're going to work in the city, they definitely have to get a city business license. But at the same time, if you take somebody like that does roofing, we had the one company over here roof that building for us over here. They can show plenty of examples and get themselves on a list for the city that's approved contractors. That way, not only would the homeowner have a little bit of a, leg up, but also the city could say, well, no, we're gonna jerk your license and you're not gonna be allowed to do this in town anymore unless you do it right and fix it. That was my take on it, that they were just gonna walk away. I mean, I'm gonna put a roof on and I'm gonna get that $100, and then it's not done right, well, then it's a homeowner's responsibility. But then we could also say, well, all right, they're not allowed, in other words, you just make a mark to their names and, no, they're not a contractor that's allowed to be in town. I don't know if we're allowed to do such or not. I would think.
Anna, could you help us with that?
No, I think that is something potentially you could do. I would want to, before I give like a finalized answer, I'd want to look into it very briefly to make sure that that's something that you could, because you're essentially banning a business from operating within city limits. So I want to make sure that that would be something that the city has authority to do through its business license regulations. But yeah, I mean, that might be something that you can do maybe through like an amendment to your business license. Like that's part of having a business license. You have to be in good standing with the city. And so that might be a way to, and if you get a lot of complaints because you're not doing your job or you're maybe fraudulent with your customers or something, kind of like apply to any business. Something is operating illegally or defrauding customers or not doing their job. That would be a reason to revoke a business license. So I think we can do it through an amendment to the business license, but I would want to make sure that language is solid and wouldn't get challenged or would be safe from a challenge. So I can definitely look into that for the board.
I mean, I just don't want this to be, it's like, well, look at here, well, the city's making money, but what are you gonna do now?
Okay, another question on this. I have no problem putting these restrictions on a new build, you know, to make sure they got their electric and their plumbing and all that, and roofing and everything is up to par. Okay, say somebody has a new roof on. The inspector comes by and say, no, they didn't do this right here right. Okay, what's the city gonna do if you don't fix it? I mean, that's the way the contractor did it, so it stays that way. So what's our grounds on it? Are we gonna have to pay another $100 for them to come back and inspect it if you do get it fixed? That's on re-roofs, you know.
But if it's again wrong and they have to come back out, then they charge again for another inspection. So sometimes you get like that one free pass to kind of correct it, and then we'll come back out again. It really depends on your costs, what it costs the city for an inspector to come out and look at something to make sure it's correct. You want to make sure that whatever you're doing, you're covering your administrative costs and your overhead. But yeah, some cities do go ahead and kind of don't charge for a reinspection for one reinspection, but if it continues to be a problem, they'll charge again. But yeah, I mean, it's on the property owner that is applying for the permit or the building permit to make sure that's done, or the developer if they're building something there. And then it's with them to deal with their contractors or their people that are, working with them to build this to get it up to standard. So that's kind of their, I mean, the city can maybe go ahead and do something like with business license, so you're kind of protecting your citizens from maybe bad contractors or bad companies, but really that would be on the property owner to work that out with their hired contractors.
Okay, so
See, that's what I'm trying to
Are we-
avoid, that's what I'm trying to avoid. I mean, it's like if we're gonna charge somebody to inspect something, what are the repercussions if it's not done right? We're just throwing it right back in the homeowner's lap, and that's what I don't, what kind of repercussions would there be there other than throwing it back in the homeowner's lap and saying, well, your AC unit was not installed right. And so now they're faced with having to get it reinstalled and then re-inspected if they could get the person that installed it to begin with to come back out and do something. What kind of repercussion would the city have there to do? What I say is, I don't want to just charge somebody money and then say, well, all you did was take the money from us, and what are we getting for it?
Yeah, I definitely understand that concern. And I think that there's, some exemptions where I think there's like a $1,500, if it's not something below that, we wouldn't have to get a permit or an inspection for. It really would, and maybe you guys want to clarify that, so like if it is just replacing an AC or unit or something like that, that's not going to materially affect the structure of a home or something, maybe you guys don't want to charge a citizen to do that, let them kind of handle it. That's an option too.
before you go any further, Anna, so on our section 45.007 under exemptions, then it is feasible that it could read, just take out the words under $1,500 where it reads maintenance and repairs may be made to buildings or structures without filing an application or obtaining a permit, providing that maintenance or repair is to existing structures and involves no material changes, would that allow for, would allow for a new air conditioning unit, but not necessarily a new HVAC system?
Yeah, because if somebody's just like maybe relaminating their floors or, you know, something that's not gonna materially, it's not really a safety concern or something that's gonna materially affect the structure or the safety of the residents, right? This whole purpose is just to make sure that before residents move in, that they are moving into a safe, structurally sound dwelling or building. And so, you know, that might help kind of limit the amount of things the city would have to get involved in. You said you guys hired a building inspector recently?
Yes.
Okay, and that might be something that you guys might wanna consult your building inspector to kind of see like what language they think should be like a triggering, since they're the expert there, I would maybe defer to them and what language might be the safest to ensure that we're not missing anything that would be important to inspect, such as like, you know, electrical, like maybe you're rewiring a house or something like that, that wouldn't maybe, you know, I don't know really where that line is, but, that might be something that you guys want to consult with him on what kind of language might trigger this inspection. But that, I mean, that is an option. Maybe you remove, like, maybe you don't think about it in the dollars. Maybe it's something that affects the structure or the electrical systems or major systems of the property or something like that, you know? Obviously, if somebody's gonna put in like a whole new bathroom and they're gonna redo all their plumbing and they're gonna connect to the city systems, you wanna make sure that that's done correctly. You know, so
So can we use that language that, so it would, anything that is going to be a connection to a city service?
that city system or
Yes.
utilities.
So that would be
or-
electric and plumbing then.
Yeah, or maybe also, or materially, let's see, what does it say right now? Maintenance or repair to existing structures involves no material changes. I think that might be, I think that would be, I think that's good language to keep in there too, that material changes, because, you know, if you're knocking out a wall or building on, you know, that's something that you want the city to get involved in and make sure that's done correctly as well. So you guys could pass it that way. If there's an amendment that needs to happen once your inspector starts enforcing this, and he, you know, maybe there's some language we can always make a quick amendment to this as well. So, but just to get it passed tonight, maybe we take out the dollar and we say maintenance and repairs that, affect maybe material or significant, I don't know. Because, I mean, if somebody's just putting in a new sink, it's not something that you'd want to trigger an inspection for, even though it would connect technically to a city system. Let me look. You guys want it, I'll look at some language really quick here.
Well, okay, so
I think
let's look at this one page at a time. Then on 36, page 36, the application, the drawings, the floodplains, this is all basically new. We really probably don't have any great questions about new stuff, because somebody comes in and wants to build a house, or they want to build a garage, or an extra room on their house. That's going to change the footprint of the property, you know? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, just a clarification. You're talking about a building permit. Is it all inclusive? Does it include structure, sewer, water, all that? Or do you, because you would have separate type inspections for each of those.
Yeah.
I would assume. So you're gonna pull a permit to make some
On the
type
new
of change,
build, it
whether that's
should be-
structure or, you know, so it's one thing to say, I'm gonna put a new sink in, or I'm gonna swap out my toilet, right? It's another to say, I'm gonna move my front door from point A to point B, and I might affect the physical structure, which would address the safety of that building itself.
Right. And I can see that the way this is written here, that for a new build, it would be,
And you would have multiple inspections
Yeah.
anyway, right? One for electrical, one for plumbing, one for sewer, one for,
well, and this is
Structure
new to
itself.
the city because we haven't had a building inspector.
On that exemption, if we just put maintenance and repair may be made to buildings or structure without filing an application or obtaining a permit, providing that maintenance or repair is to existing structures. We don't even have to add and involves no material change, because a lot of people want to remodel a room and you want to change from paneling that's on there to sheetrock, so you would be changing. So if you would just stop it at, take the $1,500 out, maintenance and repair may be made, just so take the under 15 take it out, may be made to buildings or structures without filing an application or obtaining a permit, providing maintenance or repair is to existing structure. And that means, that way, if somebody was gonna add a room on or a new garage on, then they would have to come and get a permit because you're changing the structure of the,
Yeah,
Well, and that material changes.
We changed our siding on our house, we do different types of
well,
materials.
if you put the material,
Maintenance.
Yeah.
yeah, so
But
that would be
They're
changing
not
material.
talking about materials being used, doesn't it? Material in this means like significant changes?
Well, material changes, that would be from paneling to sheetrock.
Yeah, but that's not, I don't believe that's what
Yeah,
it
so
means.
material used in this, in the, like, the legal sense here, like, it is the same as saying something's like a material fact, like it's a significant
Yeah,
fact that
significant.
really changes the situation. So, like a material change would be like taking out a load-bearing wall, right? That would be a big change in the structure and the stability of the house, whereas, just repaneling a wall, not really
Not
gonna change
talking
the
about-
house that much.
Not talking about the materials used to do it, it's the
Yeah.
significance of the change.
Yeah, so we could, honestly, you could swap the word material for significant change, but material kind of encompasses kind of a wider legal meaning of, it just means really important change. And so that's what that means in that legal context, so.
Right.
A little
The
confusing. in the-
people
in the
reading it
context
are
of
gonna
a
think
building
it's-
permit.
It's going from siding to,
No, material,
10 or something.
material.
yeah.
Another question.
Okay, that's on page 36. Any more questions on 36?
Yes,
Okay,
okay, on section 45006, floodplains. It says, okay, and I agree with this, that we're supposed to check, but at that point in time, are we gonna say, no, we're not issuing a building permit because you're in a floodplain? Or, yes, we'll issue you a building permit?
They can't get insurance on it, so they're not going to.
And they usually can't get a loan either.
You can't
Well,
get, I know
yeah,
you
but
can't
wait a
get
minute,
along.
wait a minute. What I'm saying is, somebody just walks in there and says, all right, I got enough money, I'm just gonna build it, and this is what I'm gonna do on a floodplain. Okay, what I'm asking is, and I realize it can't be insured, but you have eccentric people, whatever, they're gonna do it. Are we going to issue that permit or not issue that permit?
we need to put that in here. Permit will not be issued.
Okay, that's what I'm asking is I also understand they won't insure it, banks, the whole 9 yards, but
Because we will
that-
not,
is that
I'm
what
hoping that we will not issue a permit for anyone to build in a floodplain.
is that legal to do such?
Yeah, I think it depends too, like, the type of permit they're asking for, right? Like, if they are wanting to build a development, subdivision in a floodplain that floods frequently, no. Maybe they wanna build, like, something that's outside recreational that wouldn't really matter if it flooded once in a while, that would be kind of different. So I think it also depends on what they're trying to build, but yeah, I think like dwellings and most structures you would deny if it was in a floodplain. It would be more one of the criteria that you looked at.
Like outbuildings, I'm sure won't be as significant.
Right, yeah, so I think it would be a criteria that the city would look at when approving a permit. I mean, what is going in there, and is that a health and safety issue? If it's in a floodplain, or is that something maybe, you know, it's like a metal structure or something, maybe that doesn't matter. You know, because it's not gonna damage it to be flooded once in a while. So I think it's more of a criteria, but, yeah, I mean, you could specify that dwellings and stuff like that, not approved in floodplains, if you wanted to.
And Nick would assist with that to
Yeah.
make this very along floodplains.
Okay, any other questions on the first page, 36? Okay, now we go back to, any questions on the expiration? And now we're at the permit fees. But on a new build residential. Is this gonna include, or this is just the base fee? And then they would have to pull the permit for electric and plumbing and HVAC? Doors and windows?
It's exterior doors, we need to, change that. It's only exterior doors, said our building inspector, so I will add the exterior.
Okay, that's on
To
the
the
next
doors.
page then, so, okay. Let's go down these fees then. Residential, commercial and industrial, cell towers or communication towers. We've had some questions about that. Now the new roofs and re-roofs. So if somebody wants to re-roof their house, they come and request a permit. It's gonna cost them $100 to get that roof inspected after it's done. Correct?
Correct.
But
Okay. I just wanna make sure that's what that means, so if there's any
Wouldn't that
questions or
fall-
comments, then
Wouldn't
let's,
that fall underneath the maintenance and repair? I mean, that is maintenance to put a new roof on a house, so.
but
if
that's
it's
is that a significant change?
I wouldn't say so much that it's maintenance, but you're actually replacing something. Maintenance is patching it, perhaps maybe around a chimney, maintenance and repair, but you're actually replacing a roof.
Well, it says in here, may be made to building or structures without filing an application obtaining a permit, provided that maintenance or repair, well, if it's leaking, that is repair, if you put a new roof on your house.
Repair is patching where that leak is.
But replacing the whole roof is
You're
what you're saying,
replacing
it's not
the
maintenance.
And
Maintenance is
yeah,
not
if you put a
replacing.
whole new roof on, it's still on the same structure that you got. And on top of that, okay, you're gonna hire a contractor to do it, a lot of people around here do it yourself. But then if you get the inspector to come out and he goes, okay, that shingle don't look right there, then are we gonna have to pay him again to come in?
Well, that's what Anna addressed, that re-inspection thing, that we could allow that without being paid, but
Can I ask, like, what the qualifications are of the inspector
He is certified.
of roofs?
He's certified building inspector of everything.
any more comments on 4, the roofs?
This is Missouri standards. It states right here that the homeowner's insurance can cover the permits if it is a claim from due to wind, hail damage, and, but it will cover permits for repairs.
So
Where
when
it's
they,
required.
also if they hire a contractor, the contractor goes and gets the permit, it's included in the bill, and then the insurance company.
Insurance will cover it, right.
Yes.
So you want the contractor to get the permit, not the homeowner?
That's whoever's doing the work is the one that goes and gets the permit.
And so I understand you guys are concerned about, kind of falling back on the property owner. We could add to the failure to comply section. Right now, it says that, failure to comply with ordinance or building permits will result in the property owner being fined. You could put property owner and or permit holder, right? And then that way you could go after the permit holder that is a contractor that's not complying instead of the property owner.
Well, and is it stated in here anywhere that the application is to be pulled by or applied for by whoever's doing the work? By the owner, agent, or builder contracted and connected. Okay, I guess that's in the very first part of the application, that covers that.
Can we postpone this until we do more research and get all the wording right, so
Honestly, there's more information that I would like. If we're charging for permits for a new home, they have to get a permit for electric, they have to get a permit for plumbing, they have to get a permit for HVAC. So how much are they paying just in permits just to build one home?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be more feasible if we did one permit for a new home? Instead of charging,
This has been developed with the building inspectors, so
my understanding though is that these are based off of West Plains.
this is based off of West
Yes,
Plains, is that what
yes, the
you're saying?
building
And I would also
inspector
like
has
to-
worked closely with West Plains.
I would like
And
to
then
look into
adjusted it
Also.
to see.
Okay,
because most places, when they're building a new home, you frame it up, you run the water lines in it, you run the electric in it, you run the sewer lines in it. Don't frame it, don't close in the framework, have the inspector come in, it's got a roof on it. They inspect the whole thing at one time, instead of having an inspector come back in 15 times to one place. You can really inspect a new build in one sweep across it before drywall.
well, I guess that would need to be defined under the certificate of occupancy, so,
I'll second on the motion to postpone.
well, we had, okay, we need to,
Okay, I made a motion to accept,
so
no.
you need to pull your
I
motion back.
I retract that motion and make a motion to postpone this until we get all the information.
And then we postpone it for the February meeting.
So I would say we need to work on it with the electric, only electric, and only this one, that's it, nothing else. And do it for the next meeting.
I didn't hear all of
We've
what
got
he
the
said.
two, okay.
So on the electric, we're postponing the rates for a work session, and then this one, do a work session, just those two items, nothing else on the agenda.
I think we have a motion to postpone this bill 1472 to the February meeting with the intention of a work session along with the bill 1462. Is that the motion?
That's the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Harry,
Aye.
McAdams,
Aye.
Wallander,
Aye.
Coulter.
Aye.
Now, the agenda has a closed session for personnel. Did you have something
Well,
on this
Mayor,
before we go?
I know we have a contractor Nathan?
Yeah.
Okay. I know he does construction, and I know what Judy said about doing everything and then coming in and inspecting. My question would be, would you rather have him come in and look when the wiring is done and then say, okay, the wiring's good? And after you finish the plumbing, or you're supposed to have a plan actually that says from this to how the plumbing's gonna be laid out? In other words, a step-by-step process instead of all come in at one time. Which one would be easier for the contractor?
You have one building inspector doing it all?
Yes.
Yeah, then absolutely. Your plumbing and all of your electric has to be done before any drywall can go up, so. The only thing is, they might not have the vent out the roof yet, but.
Well, okay, what I'm getting at is what would you rather prefer? As a contractor, would
Me
you do
personally-
one inspection or 3 inspections?
Me personally, I would rather just have one inspection come in right before the drywall